Welcome to the Fly Route Pod. Whether it's your first time listening to any of our videos or you're a return listener, do us a favor. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our content.
The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod.
Okay, let's get into our predictions for the NFC South. As always, now I'm trying to bring a fan of a team in the division. Oh, look at him walking away. So, that means it's a great place to start at. Let's start with the Falcons, buddy. How are you feeling about this season? I mean, look, you got Kyle Pitts. That's great. Then you traded Julio Jones and went from probably one of the best wide receiving units possible to, I'm not really sure what you want to call that.
I had a dream during the fourth pick of the NFL draft that Kyle Pitts and Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley would give me hope of getting to the NFL playoffs. And, last I heard, because I've been focused on the Atlanta Hawks, I don't know if you know the Atlanta Hawks got to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I haven't really heard anything going on with the Atlanta Falcons. So, I think we're good. Did I miss anything important?
Besides bingo?
No, we don't want to talk about him. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to give you what I feel like the energy is around the Atlanta Falcons for fans, and I think we're very confused, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I think you look at Kyle Pitts and you see a monster in the waiting, and I think that if he has a season where he's 700 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns, people are going to think it's a failure. Because I think that they are going to demand Julio Jones type numbers from him. And he's not going to do Julio Jones things. That's not what he's built to do. At least not maybe in the first year. You don't want to put those expectations on him. I'm going to say something very controversial, and I know Falcon fans are going to flip out, and I'm really sorry. Y'all, we're not going to draft a quarterback. We were not going to trade Matt Ryan. I know these are things you do not want to hear, but I'm here to tell you the truth. You know why you weren't going to trade Matt Ryan? Because no one wanted Matt Ryan. So since no one wanted Matt Ryan, we could have either ate all the cap, or we could restructure him and create some cap space. I don't know what they have on defense. I love Dean Pease. I love their coaching staff, right? We love Grady Jarrett. And I think, last year they were not terrible against the run, and they had some moments. But, we're living in the fog of there's no Julio Jones. My mom was a diehard Julio Jones fan. I have a special sort of urn. My mom passed away, and her Julio Jones jersey lays right next to her. And, it's hard to envision what the Falcons are in a world of no Julio Jones. But the entire NFC South is just in a complete state of uncertainty, to be honest with you. We can talk about the Saints, we can talk about the Panthers, but I'll pose this question to you. At the end of the Super Bowl, if I told you the Tampa Bay Bucks came back with every starter that they had, the Falcons got rid of Julio Jones, the Saints lost Drew Brees, and the Carolina Panthers brought in Sam Darnold, do you really think any of those teams are messing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
No. Okay, I'm with you. I had the Falcons probably going 6-11, and that's a little harsh. Look, there's a possibility of 7 wins. I felt like you all would beat the Eagles, the Jets, the Jags, the Lions, and split with the Panthers, and that would put you all at about 6 wins.
We could wait. That's got to be. Come on, we got to get at least 8. That's not right.
Are you trying to see your schedule?
I am trying to see my schedule because I'm in pain right now. So give me a moment.
I can put your schedule on the screen.
No. Why you got to bring up old stuff? Just let me do it my way.
I can put your schedule on the screen, sir.
No, we good.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? I'm good. Yeah,
Are you sure?
Well, hold on. I'm doing math in my head. Okay, that's one. That's an L.
Sir.
2 wins. That's an L. 3 L. 6 L. We gonna win 6 games. Oh man!
God, yo.
Oh, we gonna win 6.
For all of
Oh,
our
my
video
Lord.
listeners or viewers on YouTube, I put up the Falcons schedule as he went through it and figured out that 6 wins is actually a pretty, it's not a mean prediction. So then I give you, would you take the over or under on 6.5, Eric?
So these are not, tips for you to be gambling. These are for fun. I am not telling you what you should or should not do. I will just say that there's a person I know named Derek who, after the NFL draft, took the over on 7.5. And then when the Julio Jones trade, in order to compensate for that, Derek took the under on 6.5. So do with that as you may.
Did Derek bet
Derek,
both sides of the Falcons spread?
Derek panic bet and took the under, which, sometimes you just got to break even. Sometimes you got to break even with Vegas. Sometimes Vegas give it, sometimes Vegas take it away. So that's what look. I think that if you're an optimistic Falcons fan, here's the optimistic scenario. New coaching staff, new energy. There are players on the defensive side of the ball that are better than you think. Better O-line play, better balance on in the game. The one thing that people have to understand is the hatred for teams in the NFC South run deep. And it doesn't matter how talented you think you are. Go back and look at the the Buccaneers games the Falcons played, and they sort of gave them hell. Look at the fact that they almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. I think that there is a pathway that Atlanta gets to 9. And that pathway is the coaching staff. Because remember, the Atlanta Falcons had a run differential or point differential that was reminiscent of a team that was 7-9 last year, or 8-8. I can't remember the exact number. If they get a little bit better on regression and they close out games that they win, remember they were beating the Bucs down late in the season, and all of a sudden Tampa Bay had to come back. I think Matt Ryan threw for 250 and 3 touchdowns. Then there's a pathway that maybe they beat the Saints one time because their quarterback situation is very, very suspect.
Maybe that puts you at 7.
Yeah. Maybe they beat the Redskins because their quarterback situation is skeptical. Although the Redskins have a phenomenal defense.
I think they're going to crush you all.
No, because in order for us to get crushed, you've got to have an offense that I think can do that more than sort of short pass game.
Underrated. That offense is underrated. They have Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson. Maybe look.
Yeah, great. Those are all great. Those are all great players in the 8th and 9th round of your fantasy draft, I guess. But their quarterback is who?
Fitzmagic.
Who was their quarterback before that? Oh, we can't talk about him because of what just happened. My apologies. We'll move on. Anyway.
Okay. All I'm saying is week 4, that's prime Fitzmagic time until you get to week 6, 7. Then it becomes Fitzmagic. Week 4 is prime Fitzmagic time.
I think that there's a scenario in which if you told me the Falcons beat the Giants, Redskins, who did I say? Giants and split with the Saints. That's 3 extra wins. It's feasible. It's plausible. It's not likely. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm not even betting in the Falcons go, what is it? 9-8. But I could see the scenario where it happens. And it has more to do with how teams get up and play for their own division. Tampa's going to get everyone's best shot, and they're uber talented in that division. But if you got to have quarterback play in this NFL, and there's a lot of teams that got shaky quarterback play. If Jameis Winston is just meh, or God forbid they start the tight end at quarterback, then you know what I'm saying? Those are different situations. But I think we don't know what Atlanta is, and then we're going to look back after week 4 and go either, wow, their defense has shown us something we can't see, or, oh my God, the Kyle Pitts thing is phenomenal. Or after 4 games, they're 1-3 and it's bring on the tank.
Okay. That puts us at the Saints. And I think the Saints are interesting because for the longest, you kind of felt like the Saints were like a almost 10-win floor, right? And I think that is you're a hater. I get it. NFC South. But I am of the mind at this point that the Saints are actually probably going to go 9-8. And I think that is a good 9-8. Look, I think they'll beat the Packers week 1. They'll beat the Giants, the Washington football team, the Falcons twice. They'll split with the Panthers, beat the Jets, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. And it's interesting because that means they take losses to the Bucs, obviously twice. I think that's a pretty safe bet. 1 to the Panthers. I think they'll lose to the Seattle Seahawks and the Bills and the Dolphins. And the Dolphins is the interesting one because they get a short turnaround. They get Sunday night football, Monday night football against the Bucs and Dolphins back to back. That is going to be a gulag. And I think that is the area where they'll take an unexpected loss to a team that they should probably be better than because of the short turnaround. And that puts them at 9-8 instead of a 10-7 record.
I can't take the over because I don't think 10 wins. So I guess I got to take the under, but it's like, I guess, a push. So
you
I can see
9.5.
Honestly, I could see them losing the game to the Falcons. I could see them losing to the Panthers. Just like the way the division works. Like
so you
every year,
see them going 7.
It's plausible.
And 9. Oh, okay.
Well, 7 and 10.
7 and 10. Thank you.
Like teams in that team, like number one, the Saints lost a really key defensive tackle. That's super important for their defensive pressure up front. That means those first 6 games, they're without that player. So, like, you may see a game they lose in that first 6 that you thought they should have won. Until I know who their quarterback is, it's hard for me to say 10. I will feel better about Jameis and Saints at 10. I'm sorry, I called them the Saints. The Aints at 10 if they had Jameis. But, like, Michael Thomas, that friction, what is that going to be like? Alvin Kamara. After those two, on terms of the offense, they've got a great offensive line. Don't get me wrong. They do have a great offensive line. But, like, who's the second wide receiver? What if Alvin Kamara gets hurt, like, and misses a couple of games? Like, the depth that they have on offense, I don't think is as great as you might think. And I could see them sort of slipping, especially early out the gate, struggling a little bit. I think, it's not a guarantee they're going to have a winning record.
Okay. That brings us down to the team that I'm pretty sure we can both guarantee will have a winning record, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What? You just say the Carolina Panthers? I'm sure.
Look, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are interesting insofar as I have them going 13-4.
Whatever.
And I feel like the 4 games they lose are going to be like to the Patriots. I actually think Tom is going to go into the Patriots, into Foxborough, and he's going to take an L. I think Bill is going to be. They got to be salivating for this game. Salivating.
You think Tampa loses to the Patriots?
I think it is. I think Bill has been waiting for this. And I think that. What's up?
No, go ahead. I think you're going to be surprised at what I think they're going to do.
Okay. I think they'll also lose to the Colts, the Bills, and the Bears. And I feel like the Bears is just kind of one of those. They lost to the Bears last year, dude. That's the weird thing. Like, the Bears are just kind of one of those teams that. Okay, what's up?
Everybody needs to know that there is a diehard Chicago Bears fan on this podcast, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, my Chicago Bears has fields, and we're never mind, whatever." Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. I honestly, at week 7, I preferably Andy Dalton would still be the quarterback at that time, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not one of those Bear fans that are just like, oh, start Justin Fields week 1, let's get it going. But like, I get it. But I actually think that, like, a fluky loss, there's usually those extremely good teams take a fluky loss here or there that they should not lose, and that they came into the game knowing that they should not lose. And I think that's going to be the Bears' loss for them. is going to be that game where you're like, how the hell did we lose to these guys at home?
Are you ready for my prediction?
Yes, indeed.
Are you ready for the hot take?
Hot take. Are you going to say 17-0?
Undefeated.
Hot take.
Undefeated.
Hot take.
I'm going to tell you why. All of their hardest games are at home. The Rams just lost their starting running back. That's huge. They needed Akers for that kind of a game. Are the Dolphins ready for prime time? I think that defense is, but I don't know about that offense. I think they destroy the Patriots. I think Tom walks in there and hangs 40, and they put boot to you know what, right? I think they'll handle the same. Here's the tough matchup for me. I don't know what week this is, but Bucks at Colts.
That's the game, right? The week 12. Week 12.
That's the game. Not because I think Carson Wentz is legit, but that's a complete team on the road, an excellent defense, can hold them in check. I can see look, they may have the division damn near wrapped up by week 12, week 13, and they may be just ready to coast and get that 1 seed. Okay,
almost definitively.
So I can see
only one bye, so they probably keep playing.
Right. But yeah, that's fair. That's why they're only focusing on one bye. But after the Colts, it's home. This road Falcons, home Bills, home Saints, road Panthers, road Jets, home Panthers. I mean, how much more of a cushy schedule do you want? Look, Tampa, if you don't win every game and win the Super Bowl, you're choked. I said it. You're going 17-0, and then how many other games you need to win the Super Bowl? They'll probably play the Chiefs again and then lose to the Chiefs again. But
Tom Brady said he'd trade 2 rings for a perfect season.
I think they go for the perfect season.
Okay.
I just minus a substantial injury, and I think that substantial injury comes to Tom Brady. There's not a team that can beat them in the NFC anymore. Or at least on that schedule. Or on that schedule. I don't see a loss.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Okay, I could see it. So you would take the over on 13.5.
I think the money on the over, and I haven't looked, you can tell me, but I think, Derek would look at the money on the over and think that that's an interesting bet. Let's say that.
Okay, that leads us to the last team in the division, the Carolina Panthers. I think this team is much improved, but they still have a ways to go. I have them going 8-9, and I think that is pretty good. I think that they got better in a lot of places. Their wide receiving core is significantly strong. They should be significantly better if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy. And I'm not out on Sam Darnold. They have a lot of young defensive pieces from 2 drafts ago when they went all defense that should hopefully mature and become stalwarts in the NFL. But I think that they will beat the Jets, the Saints once, the Texans, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Falcons, the Cardinals, and the Dolphins. That means 2 losses to the Bucs. Okay, what's up?
Sorry, my bad.
That's 2 losses to the Bucs, 1 to the Saints, 1 to the Bills, 1 to the Falcons, 1 to the Patriots, Cowboys, Giants, and Washington football team.
I can see them getting 8. I probably take the under. I think they're a year away. They've got to get used to playing. Darnold has to show me he can be healthy. I don't have a talent. It's not a talent issue with Darnold. It's just, can you not go down for 5-6 weeks? Christian McCaffrey is a monster. I think we all know this. Their offensive line is shaky, and generally speaking, when your O-line is a little shaky, it's difficult for me to think you can come close to a winning season, and 8 wins is close to a winning season. I think their defense is maybe a year away, but I think it's on the come. I think it's on the come up, and I think they're gonna give some teams hell. They just don't have that experience yet to be able to do it. If you told me the Panthers next year were 11-5, I wouldn't, or 11-6, I wouldn't be shocked. Okay. Because I think they've got a lot of young talent, and they're a few pieces away. But I don't want to the over is a winning season for them, and I just can't see it.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I'm actually really high on the Panthers this year. Like, I feel like the division is soft. It's the softest it's really been in a while, right? Like, the Saints are at their low point. The Bucks are fantastic, but outside of that, like, really, what is it? So I'm interested to see what ends up happening. This is going to be kind of a referendum year on Sam Darnold for sure.
Yeah, he's playing for his future as a starting cornerback in the NFL.